Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the NAISCC Cup Series. It's Season 3, Race 11 of the regular season here at Las Vegas. And this is going to be a crazy one. Drivers here tonight testing their luck in Sin City as it is Race 11. 2 races as we are so close to the end of the regular season. We've got here tonight at Las Vegas. And 1 more race after this. It's going to be New Hampshire, where the drivers are going to test their limits to see who will make it on to our final 16 to race for a championship. Here tonight, some of the drivers to watch out for got to be the 5 Dakota Moniz, one of the drivers that's had a real up and down season for himself, but I'm expecting the 5 to try to rebound. He's one of the few drivers that's inside of our top 16, but does not have a top 5 finish. The number 5 looking for that. Also, another driver to watch out, Martin Morales, his 24 car, looking to try to grab his first top 10 of the season. And it is one of those races where he's really close to having a shot to get inside of our top 16. Coming into today's race, 18th in points. He's going to need a top 10, top 5 finish for that 24 team that's been kind of struggling for the later parts of this season. Another driver to watch out for, Danny Cochran, coming in with 5 top 10s this season. A great way to start out for himself, but this too needs to show speed coming into this season. So far, he's shown that he's got it to stick up with the top contenders. I'm excited to see what the 2 is going to bring for us. And the last driver on our list to watch out for, that's going to be that of Maurice Gomillion, the 44. He comes in just, a little bit too far away. Also tied in 18th place, but expecting big things from the 44. Gomillion from the very quick RS racing team, such as Tom Senchak, Kyle Rochelle. We're used to seeing the 8 and the 1 up front. It's time for the 44 to step up his game here at Las Vegas. Like we said, it's race 11. We've got today, then next week, then playoff time as these drivers get in set and ready to go. My name is Sam Dyer. With me is Robert Moyer. Robert, it's Las Vegas. It's hot. The track temperature just is screaming at this point. 135 degrees. It's slick. The drivers have a lot of speed. And who knows what we're going to be seeing here for 150 laps.
Well, that is right, Sam. Man, oh man, is it going to be hot and slick here tonight at Las Vegas. Hopefully everybody's going to enjoy the content here tonight. Well, we're going to see. You just read off everybody that we need to, to keep an eye on here, man. But I'm telling you, I don't know what this track here, and especially with these cars, with this draft package, and the package that they are running here right now is knuckle to knuckle racing. Now the question is going to be, is the track temperature going to play a little bit of a difference there on pack racing? Because normally we see pack racing with this here, Sam.
Yeah, it is practically super speedway racing, but at a 1.5 mile course. A draft package. Going to be seeing a lot of side-by-side racing, up to 2, sometimes 3. Hopefully we don't see it, but some drivers might feel that itch to try to go even 4 wide at times, because it's possible that apron can help you on the front stretch to try to make some aggressive moves. But I touched on the heat. 135 degrees is the track temperature. The ambient temperature, 91 degrees. It's clear. We don't see a cloud in the sky. The desert of Las Vegas, it is going to be brutal for these drivers here tonight, as 150 laps for these drivers, and there is going to be the stage break at lap 69. But we do got to give thanks as practice come to a close here shortly. A big thanks to our sponsors. First and foremost, got to give a huge shout out to the Simbox Store. Simbox Store, you really push our buttons. Go check out the Simbox Store at Facebook or even on eBay at Simbox Store, as you can find yourself a button box to help you enhance your gaming setup. Another way to enhance it, go to the ButtKicker. If you can't hear it, why not feel it? The ButtKicker, feel what you've been missing. Get yourself a game or two. Instead of just hearing the sounds, feel them. You feel the rumbles of the cars. You feel the rumbles of how the tires are squealing. It allows you to have that sensation of how to attack these courses even better. Use the promo code FreakyFast20. That's Freaky with 2 E's to get 20% off with your game or two at the ButtKicker. Again, that's FreakyFast20 with 2 E's at the ButtKicker. Feel what you've been missing. And our last sponsor we got to give a big thanks to is McConey Setup Shop. McConey Setup Shop, best way to get yourself setups from anything from the Legends to the Cup cars. Also, a few dirt tracks can be there with the late models and modifieds and wing sprint cars, now available at www.mcconeysetupshop.com. And if you want to get even better at racing advice, you can also hit up the coaches there at the McConey Setup Shop. They've got the E-Race Coca-Cola Series champion, Zach Novak, and also the winner of the most recent Coca-Cola Series win at New Hampshire, Jimmy Mullis, could be there to help you as well. And you can throw in that of River Hayes to be another driver that could help you out. Again, that's at www.mcconeysetupshop.com/coaching. It's only $25 per hour, but it's well worth it. If you don't feel like getting the coaching advice, we highly recommend to go get yourself a setup. And when you're buying a setup, use the promo code FFB10. That's 10% off. You can get, again, use the promo code FFB10 at McConeySetupShops.com. Get yourself setups or even get coached by the pros. Get yourself better enhancement here during iRacing action. Robert, those sponsors, each and every one of them can help you so much here on iRacing. But now we get to see these drivers attack Las Vegas here tonight, qualifying underway.
That is right, Sam. Man, it's going to be great to watch everybody. Thank you, everybody out there, for tuning in. As like Sam said, I know one thing, we're going into qualifying here. Second of all, I wouldn't want to be one of them fans sitting in the stands unless I had an umbrella, man. That kind of heat, that is crazy. Oh, no. Man. Sunburn, baby, sunburn. But you know what? I would sit. Yeah, why not? I would sit and get a sunburn to watch these guys come around here to Las Vegas. Like you said, we're getting down to the nitty-gritty here. This is 2 more chances for these guys to make it into the playoffs. A must-win. We got some people that are already been eliminated. It is getting down to the crunch time, man.
Yeah, and those drivers that have been eliminated already, it doesn't matter if they get a win, a great finish here tonight. It's all about fielding the field and trying to get yourself a little bit more recognition, trying to set up yourself for the next season. That's going to be Patrick Hernandez, Shaw, Kralik, Tellez, also Whitley, Duke, Sherba False, as well as that of Hayes, who are going to be one of those drivers not able to move on. But there are a few drivers in the points running 26th through 28th. They need to put themselves in the top 25 and get a win to find themselves in the playoffs. That's going to be that of Crawford, also Hazley and Pittman, which, looking at the drivers that are here, I think we might be missing a few of them. At the top of the board, it's going to be that of Trevor Earhart. And you touched on the fact some drivers are already locked into the playoffs. We have a total of 5 that are officially locked in. One driver just needed to show up, then he would have gotten himself locked in. That was going to be that of Sora. But looking at the tracker, I don't see Sora on the field, so he's going to have to wait until next week at Homestead to try to lock himself in fully points wise for himself. But here are the 5 drivers that have already won and locked themselves in. Zach Hall, winner of last week at Indianapolis, going on a complete streak for himself. 3 wins this season. He's already locked himself in. Also, that of Brian Johnson. He's got 4 wins, locking himself in. Hunter Cedric has 1 win for himself. He's locked in as well. And then also you've got that of Thomas Walter and Kyle Rochelle. Both those drivers, 1 win. Those 5 drivers officially locked in, but the field is wide open. There are so many positions that can be grabbed. The top 16 in points, they get to move on to the playoffs.
That is correct. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I do much appreciate it. I just want to give everybody a heads up that we do here at the booth, we do got some strong storms coming in. So right where I'm at, so it looks like right now YouTube is it's fluctuating, man. So we'll have to see if we can make this or not. I'm hoping we can, but we do got some severe storms hitting us right now.
Yeah, storms always going to fluctuate racing action or even broadcast at time. You get drivers getting rained out during the racetrack. Sometimes the broadcast can get hit by those things as well. As qualifying slowly coming to a close, as we got 1 minute and 10 seconds left. Tom Sinchek, top of the board. And the biggest surprise has to be the fact of where is Cat 5? The drivers that have been dominating all season long, Zach Hall, Cedric Hunter, also that of Brian Johnson, they are not up front. They've got to fall all the way back to 5th place, where we see the first Cat 5 driver of Zach Hall. For sure. So I'm not sure if the stream can hear me, but we do have like Robert notified, storms of hitting Robert pretty bad right now. So right now we are getting ourselves set up. Qualifying has come to a close, but again, if you cannot hear me, completely understandable, as we're trying to get everything sorted, but sometimes storms can fix it and break things at the time. As qualifying has come to a close, drivers are getting gridded up and ready to go here. Hope to see these drivers put on a great show. Again, we're coming close to the end of this thing. It's going to be that of Tom Sinchek, top of the board, with Ryan Bird, Adam Westfield, with Ryan Ferraro in 4th place, and Zach Hall, your top 5. For that of Westfield, as well as Ferraro, they're in pretty tricky spots for themselves. And for Bird's inside of our top 16 of points. But for that of Ferraro and Westfield, they're going to have to figure out how to make sure they have great finishes here at the end so they can move on. Cedric Hunter going to be in 6th. Max Foner going to be in 7th. Kyle Rochelle in 8th. Brandon Colley in 9th place. And in 10th, going to be that of Nick Crawford. That's your top 10. And the rest of the running order going to be that of Sean Hutzstutler with Brian Johnson, our most wins of the season, 28 machine, going to be starting back in 12th. Last time we saw Cat 5 have a struggling qualifying run was back at Michigan, and we saw a poor showing for the Cat 5 guys where they all caught up in wrecks. We're hoping that doesn't happen here tonight for these drivers. We hope for clean green racing. Nathan Soren going to be back in 14th place, the 05. Another one of those drivers, a huge surprise. 17th in points, just 2 points out from making it into our top 16. We'll see if the 05 starting in 14th can find himself a top 10 finish. Jesse Thordick going to be in 15th position with Aaron Kralik in 16th. Maurice Gomillion in 17th with Danny Cochran in 18th. Tyler Dingler going to be in 19th with Trevor Earhart in 20th. Gregory Shaw going to be in 21st with Dakota Moniz in 22nd. James Tremmel in 23rd. Martin Morales in 24th. And that of Daniel Keith Jr. all the way in 25th position. Yeah, it's blinking pretty bad. Yeah. So it is a full thunderstorm, lightning, all striking Robert, and he's doing his best to try to get things going, but because of all the lightning and storms going on, the frames will drop. We're going to have some technical issues. We're hoping for the racing to stay as amazing as it's been all season long, but the main thing we're hoping for is for these storms to pass by quickly so we can get this stream going as well as it can go. But there is a possibility that the stream could go down because of these storms. So we'll keep our eyes open and hope that that does not happen. But drivers have already gridded up. We're getting ready to go green. Up front, again, it's Tom Sinchek, Ryan Bird, Adam Westfield, Ryan Ferraro, Zach Hall, your top 5. And finishing up that row number 3 is going to be that of Cedric Hunter. These drivers up front, such a different. We haven't seen Bird, Westfield, Ferraro up front. We'll see how well they can do as the pace car rolls off. The drivers about to see the green flag in the air, and it's going to be that of Tom Sinchek leading the group on the inside, and a great launch for himself. Again, Las Vegas, all about pack, drafting, and sticking together. All 3 lanes expected to be used here during these corners, but down below that inside line, they're finding the speed, taking off quick. It's going to be Sinchek, Westfield automatically moving their way up, and Zach Hall went from 5th up to 3rd in just a blink of an eye. Little bit of shimmying going on. Brandon Colley, Max Boner getting some contact between themselves and falling back to 9th place. Going to be that of Cedric Hunter. 3 wide, about to go down for a second thought. But they are slicing and dicing from about that of 6th place on back. It is just side by side, 2-3 wide action at points. These drivers got to be figuring out, understanding, hey, you can gain a lot of positions early if you can get the best run possible. And up front, still our top 5 in line, trying to keep themselves smooth, but looks like Bird Ferraro out of shape. It's loose, it's slick. The track temp starting out this race, 134 degrees, so a little bit cooler than practice, but still flaming hot. As the driver's still racing across, watch out. And also Cedric Hunter. They're going to be the drivers, in my eyes, that are going to be making some moves to try to get up front as quick as possible. But then behind them, being just right behind that of Nick Crawford, you've got Boner, Johnson, that of Hutzsteller, and Hutzsteller now going to the outside, having Thomas Walter make the pass, and it looks like Hutzsteller about to be passed by everyone as up front. Side-by-side racing as Ferraro out of shape, dropping back, losing ground, and that is going to be Cat 5 moving forward as they're still side-by-side. 3 wide, Crawford all the way to the 3rd lane. Here comes Johnson all the way in the middle, and it's going to be Foner stuck in the middle for himself, and somehow he survived going into turn number 3. Oh, Cedric Hunter, watch out! As we're watching the side-by-side action that's going on for 8th place. For 9th place, you got Max Foner. And then behind him, dropping quick, showed quick times earned during qualifying. Ryan Ferraro, he goes up high once again. Going to be forcing everyone to go 3 wide for the 2nd time this evening. Crawford, got to be careful cutting off the nose of that of Thomas Walter. Don't want to be making any enemies right now. That was actually Aaron Kralik, who's only shown up 3 other times this season. This is going to be his 4th start. But of the 3 starts that he had before today's race, he actually has finished in the top 5, top 10 twice. That's got to be a great showing as you're seeing all the drivers figuring out how to get by that of the 12. Ryan Ferraro qualified up front in 4th position and now back to 16th place, struggling to find grip and now still dropping back quickly. Other drivers that are making some charges forward, you've now going to be having that of Cat 5, trying to all get 3 in a row. As Johnson now up to 7th place after starting in 16th. It's going to be that of Brandon Colley, dropping back. Drivers really figuring out where they want to place themselves, especially tire-wise. Who wants to be aggressive early? With how hot and slick it is, these drivers slipping and sliding through the corners, using up a lot of rubber, which means you're going to have less grip. Your car's going to drift up more through the center of the corner. But early on, drivers almost full throttle through these courses, and make any slips and slides, you're costing yourself time for later on in the run. Still watching the 12 dropping back to 16th place, where he finds himself really just duking it out with the 94 of Sean Hutzteller. And as those drivers single filed out, side-by-side racing still going on for 6th position, where Brian Johnson, Ryan Bird, they continue to stay side-by-side, and dropping back even more is going to be that of Ryan Bird. Robert, I know you were trying to get all the details fixed out. The storm certainly shaking things up, but certainly this field right now, they're not feeling that storm, but they are feeling the heat.
That's most definitely, man. Hopefully everything's settling out for everybody out there. Thank you for that 15 minutes of me trying to work everything out. But yep, back to the action here, man. This is awesome racing here. You can see, even with this heat, how these guys can battle side by side. As we're watching that number 12 right now there with the professor there in the 94, they're trying to work their lines side by side. But there at the beginning, man, they were going 2 wide, 3 wide, single wide. They were just, and they said, well, look at this up here at Cat 5. They are still side by side here with Nick Crawford, Brandon Colley, Zach Hall on the high side. We got Brian Johnson on the low side. Who do we got up here? Rochelle up here in the 1, and then you got Cedric Hunter running up here in 3rd. And great run right now here from the 88 right now here of Adams up here running in 2nd. Great run for him so far early in this event.
Yeah, Adam Westfield, great qualifying for himself, qualified 3rd, and was able to get a great launch on the inside with that of Tom Sinchak, and they've just pulled away. And it's been Cedric Hunter that's been picking and choosing one he wants to attack, and here he comes, side by side for 2nd place. Cedric Hunter qualified back in 6th. He fell back to probably 8th position. He moved his way back up again, side by side for 2nd. Still, here comes the Hello Kitty to the inside, and he's in the better position early on with the tires. He can really make that inside lane work. Also following behind Cedric Hunter is going to be that of Kyle Rochelle, who's making a great surge for himself. And then also that of Brian Johnson, qualified in 12th, up to 5th for the 28. Has the most wins coming into today's race with 4, trying to make it 5 for that of Brian Johnson.
Well, if I was Cat 5 and all these teams out here, one thing they got to work on is try to get Nick Crawford up there to get the win. Nick Crawford needs a holy mackerel. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I just got my poop scared out of me.
A little bit of lightning, a little bit of thundering, a little bit of danger out there.
Oh, my God. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, my goodness.
Again, there are major storms going on in Robert's side of the country, so we are hoping that the storms don't knock down the stream. But it is getting wild over there.
I'm sorry, ladies. Oh, my goodness. I wasn't ready for that. Nah, it's not funny, Sam. I hate that stuff when you're not prepared for it, man.
The lightning, or was it the thunder that got you?
The lightning got me, man. It lit up my whole room.
Oh, man, I am a fan of lightning. I love seeing it. As still side-by-side action up front.
Okay. Sorry about that. I know you're going to go back and watch this, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to be like, what the world? He's nuts. But, man, okay. Deep breath. All right. Okay. Back to the race here, Sam. Whew.
Man, it's still now dropping back. Cedric Hunter trying to make that inside line work, but we're starting to see 15 laps into these runs. Drivers are on the outside trying to find some speed for themselves, as I've seen teammates, that of Brian Johnson, Zach Hall, battling for 5th position, as well as Nick Crawford and also Colley. All 4 of those drivers working with one another, and right behind them going to be Aaron Kralik, as just side-by-side racing, trying to find where the true speed is on the course. With the iRacing updates that came recently for these racing surfaces, it's made both grooves of the outside lane and driving low by that white line. You can run both lanes quite well and find success in both of them, as Cedric Hunter getting some help, trying to get the draft help from the 1 of Kyle Rochelle, trying to push the 13 down the front stretch. And then behind them, just absolute dogfighting going on for 5th position.
Yeah, that's correct. You're going to see dogfighting. Now, my question to you, Sam, here, as we're going 16 laps of 150 here, how much does the draft play a factor here at Las Vegas? Is it really key, or is it more about the speed in the cars and just the way the track is laid out here at Las Vegas?
I mean, I would say the draft can certainly help slightly on the front stretch and the back stretch. It can give you a slight boost going into these corners. The biggest thing for these drivers, it might help the driver that's in front, but the driver in the back, you're dealing with a lot of dirty air that can push your car up through the center of the corner, or even get your nose a little bit uneasy, unbalanced, to where you're using too much wheel, getting too tight. These drivers have a lot to worry about, and that's what I'm liking from the 88 of Westfield. Using that high line, not using the dirty air of everyone else running low, which means he's going to be trying to use up less of his wheel inputs going into these corners. But you're starting to see the difference of drivers that were actually being aggressive early on in those first 15 laps starting to fall back, as there goes the 88, extremely high, falling, losing time, and moving forward. Going to be that of Cedric Hunter, that of Kyle Rochelle, Johnson, Zach Hall. They're doing a great job for themselves, and also for Nick Crawford, who you touched on, needs to have a massive day for himself. Yep. He was part of that group of drivers that needed to get a win and be inside of the top 25. And with some of the drivers not showing up here today, it gives opportunities for this 11 to find himself possibly in the playoffs, but he's going to need a win.
Yes, he's going to definitely need a win, and he's got a great run right now up here in P7 right now, up 3 positions of the start. I also want to give a shout out there to YouTube. Thank you, David Funky Comedinas, joining us here tonight. Sam, thank you there, sir, for joining us here tonight with the NAISCC Cup Series here at Las Vegas. As man, I mean, I'm just sitting here watching this battling all over. I don't know where to go on the track, be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen. We got battling all the way back here. It looks like back here to the number 5, that is 16th, 17th, 18th position. They're battling back here. You keep going back farther to Jesse in the 14 here. He's back here. They're finally looks like they're gonna get single file back here. But man, there's just no one's getting off of each other here. And you can see we're now about 20 laps into this run here, and this is about the time where who saved tires, who didn't save tires. And you're gonna start seeing cars move up the field and fall back the field, or just steady, place themselves where they need to be on the track right now.
Yeah, and, the drivers I'm looking out to really make their charge forward has to be that of Zach Hall, who's doing a great job. Brandon Colley, he made his charge forward, but yellow going to be coming out, as it looks like that of Trevor Earhart going to be getting some contact, as well as the 44, but extreme damage looks to be for the 5, Dakota Moniz, all the way low, and that was around the battle that we were watching previously. Yeah. And I think these guys might have just gotten loose. Yeah, loose off of the corner. Ferraro into the 5, Dakota Moniz. We're going to see it here on the Freaky Fast Broadcasting replay. Just coming out of the corner. Watch the 12 on the outside. Brushes the outside wall. Comes down. And the 5 had nowhere to go. Also collected. But yes, it looks like a little bit of damage to the 5. But coming up. And that's when you get the real danger of getting back into the outside wall. But luckily finds himself avoiding all of the traffic he came up to. That's great racing by everyone else, great wreck avoidance by everyone else in that incident.
Yeah, everybody, that was great. Paying attention, knowing what's going on, like you said there, Sam. Everybody, missing that incident there, as it looks like pit road. Wow, 22 laps into this already, and we got people hitting pit road already. Now, are they just going to take fuel or tires is going to be the question.
Yeah, these drivers are going to be set up with 5 sets here tonight. One that they started off with, 4 in pit road. So some drivers might feel like taking a set here to set themselves up for the stage 1, try to get some bonus points if possible. But I would say a lot of these drivers just going to go with fuel only here, expecting them, if there comes another late caution or whenever the stage comes out, to finally use their first set. Because a lot of these drivers aiming around lap 35 to 40, if a caution comes at that point or later, expect some drivers to be taking a set of tires at that point. But it looks like only driver to stay out, James Tremmel, which going to be taking himself up front. A weird call for himself, but trying to get at least 1 point for leading the lap for the 20 machine. Tremmel, again, one of those drivers that's trying to make sure he stays inside of the top 16 in points and he was running all the way back in 25th position for most of that first run. So this is most needed to get points. But leading the groups that came out of pit road, Cedric Hunter, Zach Hall, Brandon Colley, and Nick Crawford going to be those other drivers, with Adam Westfield going to be the 5th driver out of pit road of those. And then you got the fall back to 8th place, Tom Sinchek, as well as that of Kyle Rochelle, Brian Johnson, all taking tires, with that of Ryan Bird. Then you got that of Jesse Thordick that didn't take a set of tires, just went with fuel. And the rest of the field, 13th on back, tires as well for themselves. So it's not a terrible call for themselves to do this, but it just shows the drivers that took a set here might have to question if they want to take another set at the end of stage 1.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking here, Sam. That's an interesting call here. It's interesting on the 20 actually staying out, because they can't make it on fuel to the stage. Not even with these caution laps, can they?
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to be making it. It's going to be at the start of lap 70 when the caution's going to be waving for these drivers. So they're going to have to stretch it again for another 40-some laps, which I think fuel-wise, it's going to be questionable if they can make it. But I think it could be, if they're in complete safe mode for everyone that just pitted, they can make it. But for Tremmel, he is going to have to pit one more time. But I think for James Tremmel, goal for this stage, just get that 1 bonus point for leading, and then figure out the rest of the race once that stage 1 comes to a close.
Yeah, I agree. I just wanted to, because you know what's going to happen here with the draft and the way things are run here at Las Vegas, and the way these cars are. That 20 is a sitting duck. I'm sorry to say it, but he's going to have to move out of the way, because these guys behind him, or even if they're on older tires, well, maybe not. The difference is the fuel. So, okay, never mind what I was thinking. I think what we're just going to have to watch here is the guys with new tires.
Green flag out in the air. Top 7 did not take tires. He's got to pull back to 8th place with the number 8 of Tom Sinchek, who'd been leading most of this race. He took 4 sets of tires. We'll see when we took 4 tires, using up his first set. That was in pit road. We'll see how they attack, as already Cedric Hunter trying to make the pass, but 3 wide action. Back running for 7th. They're about to be 3, almost 4 wide. They're thinking about it. They're not going to do it for sure. It's going to be the 1, the 8, and also the 88. 3 wide and fall back again. Bird Johnson able to get by that of Westfield, and Westfield's going to be the first of the drivers on older tires being passed by, but expected to happen over and over again, of 2, 3 wide passes being made, trying to get by this lap, well, not lap traffic, but traffic on older tires that you're trying to get by as fast as possible, as Kyle Rochelle forcing it 3 wide, going for 3rd place.
He don't need to force it 3 wide. He's got so much more speed on them fresh tires than these guys with old tires, Sam. He just buoyed his way through the field. As we know, the 1 and the 8 are teammates. Same pit strategy. You can see them. Look at, they're just like using horns and saying, "Move out of the way. I'm coming through, gentlemen." Because look at Tom. He don't know where to go.
And now going to be ushered in high side, the 42, just trying to get out of the way. But there goes Kyle Rochelle up to 2nd, about to try to duck it. He'll go high. Past that of Cedric Hunter, Ryan Bird, another one of those drivers on fresh tires, and the 8 of Sinchek. They're going to be trying to make that outside line work, getting by the 13. Cedric Hunter making it as difficult as possible. Watch out, though. The 16 out of shape and clogging up the drivers behind him.
Oh, hang on to it there, sir. As
Here comes Gregory Shaw.
Yeah.
He's going to make an inside line work. Got to be careful for these guys 3 wide. If the driver on the inside hits the apron, pushes up, could be making some contact with these drivers on the higher lines, but surviving, making their way 3 wide for 2nd place. Here comes Brian Johnson on the inside.
Oh, Brian Johnson did a different strategy call too there, Sam. He took tires too.
Yeah, Brian Johnson, I think he was starting to feel the wear and tear. He was being so aggressive in the first 15 laps. Understood, you know what, let's just take a fresh set, reset, and get back out there and try to learn how to save a little bit better this go around. After having the track position and advantage with the tires, he can be aggressive here, side by side. Tom Sinchek, Johnson, as Kyle Rochelle trying to figure out how to pull away, but it's so difficult early in these runs. The draft keeps everyone so close. You really can't pull away from everyone else because of how fast you're running around Las Vegas here.
There goes the internet again. Up and down, up and down.
Again, sorry for the internet issues, stormy weather breaking down our services at the moment. But we're doing our best that we can. Brian Johnson still side by side with that of Sinchek. Doing a great job for themselves as Kyle Rochelle pulls away. Bird in fourth, that of Aaron Kralik in fifth. But Gregory Shaw, sixth place for the 66. Like, might want to get out of that position with those numbers. A little bit dangerous for Shaw, who's now going to be trying to make the pass on the 16. And those drivers that were on older tires, led by Cedric Hunter, all the way back to 14th at the moment. Single filing going out, and Shaw now going to be ducking it low to make a pass for fourth, possibly here. But Bird, late block, going to be holding off strong as Aaron Kralik on the high side, trying to make this 16, make that outside lane work. Got the momentum, a little bit of bump to the 66. Shaw still holds on after that bump, holding on in fifth position. And a driver that we talked about earlier in the broadcast, Danny Cochran, and also Dakota Moniz battling for seventh. As you see that on the right of the screen, the 2 and the 5 just duking it out, trying to see who can have the better position here and trying to make sure they could be in the top 5. Again, top 5 at stage 1 at the start of lap 70 is when we will be getting ourselves some bonus points. Top 5 finishers at that mark at our stage caution will be getting those bonus points. So everyone's trying to figure out how to get into the top 5 currently. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for trying to be patient with us as we're trying to settle things down on the broadcast side with frames dropping. As you've been able to see periodically, drivers have been side by side, and now we're starting to see drivers start to calm down, single filing out, which means some drivers are moving forward, others are dropping back. We saw Gregory Shaw there for quite a long time now, watching the battle for 7th place. Sean Hutzfeller and Gregory Shaw going to be battling for that position. And then in front of them, Ryan Bird following Dakota Moniz, who Dakota Moniz and also Danny Cochran, they were back around battling for 8th place about 10 laps ago. Now find themselves both in the top 5, as seeing some drivers falling out of the top 5. But since we're here, we're going to do a quick rundown of where drivers lie as we're inching closer and closer to when our stage 1 will come to a close. Again, stage 1 at the start of lap 70 will come to a conclusion. It's going to be that of Brian Johnson leading the way with Tom Senchek. Both those drivers were side by side for over 10, almost 15 laps. Finally settled things out with 28 leading the way. Then you've got Kyle Rochelle, Danny Cochran, Dakota Moniz, your top 5, with that of Sean Hutzfeller and Ryan Bird, your tops going to be 6th and 7th. And 8th going to be that of Gregory Shaw with Aaron Kralik. And 9th, Trevor Earhart going to be in 10th position for the 25 car. Max Honer in 11th, Martin Morales in 12th, Nathan Soren in 13th, and 14th is going to be that of Tyler Dingler. And in 15th is going to be Daniel Keith Jr. Last car that got fresh tires was Daniel Keith Jr., leading the drivers that are going to need a caution or hope that they don't go a lap down. It's going to be that of Cedric Hunter in 17th, as those drivers almost 12 seconds back from the lead cars. As those drivers from that of 17th on back did not take a fresh set of tires, everyone 16th forward did take a fresh set under our one and only caution of the day, seeing Ryan Ferraro and also that of Dakota Moniz having contact with themselves. A great recovery for the 5 of Dakota Moniz up to 5th position, as we're getting a great look at the G Fuel 66 of that of Gregory Shaw. And then behind him going to be Aaron Kralik. Kralik is on quite a tear every single time he's shown up. He's done a decent job finishing up front for himself. And now looking at that of Brian Johnson, just cruising along up front, single file, everyone running that low to middle line, trying to find themselves some decent speed for themselves. Also trying to conserve those tires, recognizing you've already used one set. You only got 3 left for those up front that have already taken tires. You got to be patient on how well you want to use these last 3 sets of tires for this 150 lap race. Side by side, it's going to be the 51 and the 25. This is a battle currently going on for 10th place. Max Foner trying to find himself, get by the 25 of Earhart, but just not able to, as Earhart gets the momentum coming out of turn number 2, holding strong on the outside lane. In that outside lane, they get the momentum because they can get back onto the throttle, forcing the driver on the inside to have to slow off, get off the throttle so they don't drift up coming out of these corners. That's why we see the outside line on the straightaways having the speed. But here comes Max Foner, going to be throwing it down low as Earhart's going to be struggling for himself to hold on to grip. And now coming behind him, going to be that of Martin Morales. Morales, one of those drivers we kind of had circled up, looking for his first top 10 and top 5 of the season. He's 18th in points, needs a top 5 finish for the 24. As again, this is the second to last race before playoff time, and only the top 16 in points get to move on. Some drivers are going to be set up in positions to have already won and are moving on. But, drivers are concerned on how well they're going to be attacking one another. And just got a report of our lead lap drivers coming up to Jesse Thordick. Thordick has blown a tire for the 14. He is low on the apron as our leaders have already gotten by him, but issues already for the 14 that kind of was in a terrible spot coming into this race. He was 16th in points, only 2 points back from that of Nathan Soren. And this type of a run is not good for the 14. He's going to be put in a deficit and having to climb and claw his way back into the top 16 next week. If he, being multiple laps down, hoping he doesn't go too many laps down, his stage break is coming here in the next 20 laps. Again, it's still the 28, Brian Johnson leading the way. Tom Sinchek, Kyle Rochelle, RS Racing teammates, 2-3, Danny Cochran and Dakota Moniz, your top 5. Robert, I think you're back. You know, a little bit of a scare there. Thought maybe the stream wasn't going to make it, but we're kind of holding steady at the moment.
Yeah, never say die, right? I don't know. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, if I'm not helping Sam out as much as I should right now. My brain is like totally not with the race or what Sam's talking about. So I'm totally on another world here right now, trying to make sure you guys get the best quality and audio that we can provide.
Drivers feeling like they cannot make it all the way to the end. And I think we're starting to see the drivers that did not take tires coming into pit road because of tire wear. Ryan Ferraro, Nick Crawford having to come into pit road. And with the Jesse Thornton comment of him feeling like he blew a tire, this could be forcing those other drivers, as Zach Hall and Cedric Hunter, those drivers 17th on back, might have to think about coming into pit road because they didn't take a set of tires under that caution. Still great racing. Teammates, the 8 of Tom Sinchek, Kyle Rochelle, 2nd and 3rd. They're starting to gain up just slowly here. Our top 4, all within a half a second of one another.
Yeah, and you can see that it looks like the tires all leveled out. Looks like everybody just, they're in their position now here, Sam, and they're just going to, looks like ride and see if somebody makes a mistake. But as you can see, they're coming up on Nick Crawford right now that just exited pit road, but he should be able to pull away. Now, the question is Brian Johnson going to latch onto him and try to use his draft just to help him pick up a little bit, you know, 10th or 2 here and there?
I mean, in theory, it would make sense that it would help him, but I don't think it's going to happen here with those fresher tires. Excuse me, Crawford's just going to pull away. He's going to have to be able to carry so much more speed through the center of the corner and out of the corner than our leaders, even though you've got all 3 drafting as Tom Sinchek gets a little bit out of shape behind the 8 of the 28 of Johnson. Got to be careful for these guys getting a little bit out of shape for themselves, because we're going to be on board with the 8, getting a sense of how these drivers have to attack these corners. That the real thing to watch out is coming out of the corner through turn 4. Is smoke spilling? That is going to be Cedric Hunter, the 13 driver. He's going to be wrecked out, and oh, that is an awkward moment for himself.
No yellow?
As he was running all by himself, he wrecked on the apron. Not bringing out a yellow here.
Wow. Well, we got the replay
out there. Yeah, we're going to see the replay, but I think what happened was he got loose / I think a tire issue might have happened for the 13. Zach Hall comes over the radio saying, I might have to come into pit road here soon with some of the issues we're seeing. But,
oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. He has a flat tire. Look how that car... Yeah, he has a flat tire, Sam. You could just tell the way the car reacted. It just all of a sudden just bloop, gone.
I mean, we talk about how these setups, you could feel a little bit of tight sensation, and that could cause you to put a lot more wheel into the corners. And that's what we're kind of seeing from these guys is when you're on fresh tires, it's slick, car wants to slide all over the place, and then once you get heat built up, you really could just cruise around these corners. There's a lot more of throttle control on how hard you're letting off the throttle, how much you're letting off, and how quick you get back on the throttle for these guys. And Zach Hall now going to be coming into pit road, still waiting for that of James Tremmel to be coming in for the 20. He's the last driver that has not come in at all this race. And that's a scary thought when you've already seen 2 other drivers blow their tires, that you're still out there running for the 20.
Well, I think something happened to Brandon Colley too, Sam, because I'm showing on that 51, he spun out.
Yeah, he's issues for a lot of these guys so far.
So that would be what, 3 people that has blown a tire, and you got the 20 out here. James still 60 laps on his tires. Man, oh man, I would be scared.
Yeah, I don't understand how James Tremmel has got the guts to still be out there. Touched on the heat temperature of what the track temp's like. It is now 135. It was at 136 at one moment. Whoa. And that is blistering. You are causing more wear onto this racing surface. Even it doesn't matter how loose or tight the setup is, just based on that heat alone, it's causing these tires to wear off probably an extra 2 laps or so than what they usually would, just turning this race into a cheese grater. And you're just melting the rubber as you go around here flying around this course.
That, and with the way they do the off camber on these tires, you know, you're either burning the outside of the tire or the bead in the inside. And they don't use too much brakes here at Las Vegas. You might trail brake going into the turn here with this kind of draft package that they have, and the setup, just overall in general of the way the car is. So I don't see brakes heating up the tires too much. It's just more like you said. It's just the heat is boiling the bead inside the tire or the outside of the tire, and eventually the tire just, you know, rubber can only take so much, ladies and gentlemen, as we know. Eventually it gives out.
As we are now 9 laps, about to be 8 laps until stage caution comes out. And drivers hot and heavy for that 5th place position. Ryan Bird able to make the pass on Dakota Moniz here late. And now Dakota Moniz, he's got Hutsteller, also Max Foner soon to be there. And they've got drivers on lap traffic. Freshies, they've got that of Hutsteller trying to hold off that of Thomas Walter, our Michigan winner. But Walter easily flying on the inside, making this pass, forcing the 5 and the 94 to have some issues for themselves, as well as you've got that of Ryan Ferraro on fresh rubber, but it looks like he's struggling to find pace to get by the drivers on older tires than him.
Yeah, Ryan Ferraro, it looks like he's struggling. It looks like that car's just very unsettled for him right now there, Sam. Hopefully he can figure it out here in the future here as, you know, we didn't even hit the stage yet. We still got a second half of a race to go, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, when stage caution going to be coming at the start of lap 70, so then it's going to practically be at the halfway marker. We're going to go green once again. Drivers looking to have one pit stop if we stay green during that second stage to the end, but a little bit of a scare when we saw Ferraro and Moniz side by side. Those drivers making contact, bringing out our one and only caution here tonight so far, as we've already seen a total of 3 drivers blow their tires and having issues here tonight with tire wear, which has put a couple of these guys multiple laps down. Cedric Hunter all the way back in 23rd position, Brandon Colley, Jesse Thordick, all 3 of those drivers blew their tires and they're running the last 3 on the field.
All right, I got something to ask the fans out there that are watching, because we're packing house again. Thank you for everybody sticking around through the ups and downs of the technical problems, things. Keep your fingers crossed. But what is the strategy of Trimble staying out this long? Now, he is hitting pit road now, but why would you stay out that long? What's the logic going behind that?
The only thing I could think about is Tremble's trying to save an extra set way more than everyone else, and also go out of track position. So he's going to be pitting here. Drivers are expected to have that competition caution here in the next 5 laps, which then would be putting Tremmel in a spot where he doesn't have to worry about coming back into pit road. Maybe think about topping off so he can gain some positions there. But with him being now 2 laps down, it really, it just all his Ultar strategy is backfired.
Yeah, I mean, we're on a trend right now of green flag racing here. We only seen 1 yellow so far, and that's just weird. That's where I would like to talk to him and ask him what. I'm not a driver, Sam. So I mean, I'm not out there racing, but my brain doesn't compromise what his game strategy was, or what was it, and it backfired on him, like you said, and he was trying to figure it. You know, hopefully he was hoping something was going to happen that didn't happen.
Yeah, I was hoping for at least a caution of some sorts to come out, but the battle for the lead, it is hot and heavy. That of Ryan Johnson trying to hold off Kyle Rochelle, as it looks like Tom Sinchak, he was in the mix of this, but his tires just couldn't hold on. It's now the 1 right on the back bumper. We're 3 laps to go here in this stage. Actually, I take that back. We're 2 laps until this stage comes to a close. As it's going to be Kyle Rochelle doing his best to get by that of Brian Johnson. And that battle I was talking about for 5th place, still lingering a little bit, but it looks like Hutsteller could be slightly too far back unless Ryan Bird makes a mistake for that 5th place position. Everyone else, Kyle Rochelle, Thompson, Sheck, Danny Cochran, they're kind of pretty spaced out from anyone else that could cause them issues to lose positions, except for Kyle Rochelle, that it's right on the back bumper, battling for the lead. White flag in the air for stage number 1. Kyle Rochelle, he might be thinking about just sitting back and waiting. Both these drivers already locked themselves into the playoffs. But who wants to have the most points going out of the regular season? It's got to be Johnson still defending as they're coming up to lap traffic. As they feel going on the high side, trying his best, just no space. As here comes Ferraro, that's going to be causing a little bit of fluctuation. This is great for Ferraro, who, if he could possibly get ahead, this would be a great position, bogging down our leader, and across the line, it's going to be Brian Johnson, and Ferraro does able to stay in front of our leader, so that's at least one lap given back to the 12, who's hoping to try to get a couple of more if possible as our stage comes to a close.
Well, congratulations to Brian Johnson. Congratulations to everybody that got some stage points that needed it. So, man, I'm telling you, watching right now, though, after this first half of this race here, Sam, that number 1 car, I do believe he has something for Brian Johnson.
Yeah, and a lot of concern came over the radio when that yellow finally waved. A lot of drivers saying, oh boy, thought I was going to lose my tire, because most of the drivers out there were running about 47 to 48 laps on these tires. That was around the window when Jesse Thordick actually had his tire blow, being the first car to lose his tire. So these drivers now are going to have to think of the risk and reward for this second stage when they race to the end. It's going to be 75 laps when we go green again. These drivers have to be thinking, who's going to stay out as long as possible and risk blowing a tire, compared to the drivers that are thinking about, okay, we're going to split this in half, so there is no tire wear issues to worry about.
Yeah, I'd split this in half, like you said, Sam. Now, after seeing everything that happened in the first half here, and like you said, the key here is saving tires and not blowing a tire from what it looks like. I mean, I don't see this race having too many yellows. I mean, the way we seen it in the first half, unless these guys get a little pushy and what do you want to call it? Pushy and groovy, and say, "Move out of my way, I'm coming through." Towards the end of the race, which have seen multiple times here with these guys. When we get down to the end of the race, every position counts, and they start to get really nitty gritty.
Yeah, and you've got the drivers that are already locked in, so they might be thinking about something a little bit more dangerous out there. I mean, you've got that of Zach Hall, Brian Johnson, Cedric Hunter, also of Thomas Walter and Kyle Rochelle. Those 5 drivers have already locked themselves into the playoffs, but still looking at the rest of the field, some of them might be thinking about, hey, I can't do anything too risky right now. And luckily for Cedric Hunter, he is already locked in as he's running back in 25th position, 1 lap down. Did take the wave around, it looks like, or is trying to take the wave around. For a lot of these drivers try to unlap themselves. That's from 17th on back, all trying to take the wave around, which that would be putting that of Crawford, Hall, Westfield, Walter, and Ryan Ferraro back on the lead lap, but they'd be on, again, old tires that they got to worry about if they're going to blow up, trying to get to that mark of at least 40. I mean, even if they pit after 20 laps, they should be good. But that's going to be putting a question mark on Nick Crawford, who's already got 20 laps on these tires.
Yeah, we'll have to see what Nick does here. He's heading down pit road now. I'm not exactly sure if he's just coming down for fuel. Is he going to put some tires on that machine? Is he going to spread some butter? Maybe that's the problem. It's so hot, he's got butter all over the track with his toast.
Oh, no.
Butter, butter, jelly. Sorry, go ahead.
Driver that seems to be having issues and shown out on our ticker, Nate Soren. He's 17th in points, and with Jesse Thordick having all the issues that he was having, looking like Nate Soren was going to point his way into the top 16 going into next week's race. It is now with him disconnecting because he hasn't officially left the server yet, but it looks like he is having internet issues that could be kicking him out, which is going to be putting the 0-5 outside of the top 16 going into next week, which you don't want to be a driver trying to chase your way into the top 16. You would much prefer trying to defend that position, play the safe route. You don't have to do anything reckless of being off sequence like some of these other drivers are going to be next week. And the next week is going to be a very hectic racing night, especially with some of these drivers that are around that bubble spot of 16th, 15th, 14th, having the woes that they've been having. Big credit to Ryan Bird, though. Driver that's 15th in points, having a solid day for himself, as well for Dakota Moniz. That was coming in that of 14th in points. He's been running in the top 10. Both those drivers needing to have solid days if they want to make sure they've got enough of a bubble to work with going into next week.
That is very true. So outside the top two, Sam, who do you think's got anything for these top two outside of them?
I mean, Sinchak showed that he's got that that short run pace, but I don't know. I mean, Danny Cochran also was another driver that got close there with these guys. I don't know if there's anyone else, though. I think those are really the only 4 drivers that are battling for this win. Kyle Rochelle, Johnson, Sinchak, and then also Cochran. Those are my 4 picks that are challenging for this win, because the other drivers I kind of had on my list, of that being Zach Hull, also all the other Cat 5 drivers, they're having their issues and woes with that of Zach Hull having to stay out, take the waiver round. He's going to be in 16th place, and he's going to need at least a quick caution to get back into the mix of things, which we're going to be past halfway when we go green. These drivers might be thinking about getting mixy here already early, as this is going to be us going green. We've only had 1 true caution. The second one was our stage 1 break, and now we race it to the end.
All right, well, pace truck's about ready to duck in, ladies and gentlemen. Lap 74 is about ready to be completed. They get double filed 2x2x2. Here we go. We're going to see what anybody got anything for Brian Johnson or that one. And, oh, the one did not get a start.
That hurt the 51 of Foner more than anything as well for Earhart. They're going to be back in the middle of the pack, but that whole entire accordion effect on the outside hurting those drivers in the middle of the pack more than that of Kyle Rochelle. But Kyle Rochelle going to be dropping back into 3rd. This is where he's been out during the beginnings of these races, all race long. The driver is slow, dropping back. Looking at who that is, I believe that's the 20, James Tremmel, already just deciding, you know what, I'm going to go to the back of the line.
He's like, yeah, don't want no part of that right now, as we're going to see some hard-nosed battling going on right now here. Through a whole field as they head down into turn 1 side by side. And who is that trying to, that's a 16 of Aaron there trying to make a move, and looks like he's going to be able to clear. That 44 there is struggling a little bit.
Yeah, another one of the drivers that's quick in the first 20 laps of the run, Gregory Shaw. He's now up to 11. Getting by the 44. Gomillion was one of those drivers that we kind of had on our radar to watch out for. Needed a top 10 run here this evening. It's not looking good for him currently on where he's running. The 44 dropping back to 13th. Cannot lose more ground than what he's got going on currently. He's coming into this race 13th in points, but you're hoping for top 10 runs as Bird goes a little bit low, thinking about a pass, but gets passed by that of Hutsteller.
Oh, all single file now here, Sam.
Yeah, I think everyone's recognizing, hey, we don't need to be aggressive here.
Not yet.
The aggression level will kick in once we make our pit stop. Right now, let's all stay in line, figure out how to save our equipment, so later on we're good. Drivers that are battling side by side, though, are those back in 15th, 16th, because those are the drivers on older tires that are hoping to gain a couple of more positions, as driving high, going to be the 22 with Tyler Dingler. He's going to be losing the position to that of Shaw. Shaw now up to the top 10. I know Shaw's got a couple of fans out in the chat. Gregory Shaw will love to see the 66 showing up, especially, it just seems short run pace. The 66, always one of the drivers that's in the top 5, the top 10 of fastest cars short run wise.
Man, these guys... They're way back here battling the 22nd, 23rd, 24th position. They're all like, you know what? Screw it. Let's go for it. And look who's all the way back here. Adam Westfield. Great run in the first half there, Sam. And now he's back in 17th position. I wonder what happened to him, or did he decide to take it easy, or is he having issues?
He was part of that group of drivers that decided to just take fuel on our first caution of the evening, which put a lot of those drivers in a tricky spot tire-wise. So Adam Westfield had to come into pit road in the middle of the green flag race scene, which put him a lap down, had to take the wave around under a stage 1 break, which put him back in 18th position, and he's rocking with 27 lap old tires. So He's mingled with the drivers of that of Zach Hall, Thomas Walter. Those are the guys that have already used their set, earlier on, and now it's a waiting game until these drivers get around, let's say, a lap 100 to 110 is the window these guys are looking for when they want to make their final pit stop of the evening.
Yeah, I mean, if you can go 5, I mean, the way we've seen tires blow out, if you can make one extra lap, Sam, that's huge right now here tonight with these drivers here, because if you can make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 extra laps, it is huge right now on just time and speed and tire wear. And I've never thought I'd talk about a race with tire wear like we are tonight, but we are tires are really, really a thing here, ain't it?
Yeah, I mean, last week was tire wear, fuel. Now this week, again, tire wear, fuel. These drivers have to worry about, but a lot more is on the tires than the fuel run. But
yeah,
everyone's single filed up. We're looking for the pit stops. Most of these drivers, if they want to make sure they are good tire-wise, have to pit around 103 to 104. If you pit around there, you should be solid to make it without worrying about your tires blowing, but we are still quite a ways from that moment. Yes, there's side-by-side racing going on, but a lot of single-file racing. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, pit stop's going to be set up, and expecting these drivers to get a little bit frisky on how they're going to be charging through the field.
want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. There's a reason that Makoni Setup Shop is trusted by more virtual and real-world tracks and companies than any other setup shop in iRacing. With partners such as Stafford Motor Speedway, the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, Five Flag Speedway, Speed 51, and more. When you want something done right, you go to the experts at Makoni Setup Shop.
With setups available for most series on both asphalt and dirt, built by a team of professional builders consisting of some of the top talents on the service, Makoni Setup Shop LLC has what you need to hit the track with confidence. Head over to MakoniSetupShop.com and learn why Makoni Setup Shop is the official setup shop of Richmond Raceway Esports and is partnered with some of the largest names in virtual and real racing.
And remember, at Makoni Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the NAISCC Cup Series Season 3, Race 11. Here tonight is the second to last race of the regular season before playoff racing comes underway. Just saw the pass by Hutzstutler, and now soon to be, might be thinking about it, Danny Cochran. Thinking about making the pass here on the one of Kyle Rochelle. Do a quick rundown of our top 10. You've got that of Brian Johnson, Tom Senchek, Kyle Rochelle, your top 3, with Danny Cochran and Sean Hutzstutler going to be your top 5. Then Dakota Moniz, Brian Burr, Max Foner, Aaron Kralik, and Trevor Earhart going to be your top 10. We did see some drivers coming into pit road. That of Brandon Cawley, he's getting his service done, as well as Adam Westfield, Thomas Walter, and also Jesse Thordick. They've all come down into pit road trying to get service done. A driver did come in, as those were the drivers that had to take the wave round, so they were on older tires, had to pit early. They are now in a very tricky spot of what their tires are going to be like. If you're pitting this early, I don't know if you're going to have tires that are going to make it to the end of this race. Might have to make an extra pit stop for at least 2 tires. But a driver that did take tires could not make it to the end. Actually, he's already parked it. Ryan Ferraro having some issues for himself. But before we look at that, side-by-side racing for a second. Nope, they cleared it up. So we do have the replay of exactly what happened to the 12 who started to have woes early in the first 15 laps, and you're going to see coming out of pit road, Cone was already destroyed, going to hit it again, and here comes the 12, Ryan Ferraro, just got done with his pit stops, showing that something broke. I'm thinking he might have accidentally downshifted when he meant to upshift, and it blew his engine, sent him down low. You hate to see someone get taken out like that, especially when we're in the last stint of a race, but for that of Ryan Ferraro, that is a demoralizing type of wreck for him that he having for himself. Came into the race 23rd in points. That could be a season-ending wreck that could be making him not be able to move on to the playoffs of this season. But my name is Sam Dyer. With me is Robert Moyer. Robert's also running production, so a little bit of double duty for yourself. Robert, it's been a crazy night tonight. You had storms. We had a lot of technical issues early in the broadcast, but they kind of sorted themselves out. Now we get to watch these guys race out the soon-to-be final 50 laps of this race.
That is correct. Thank you, everybody out there, for sticking by. If you made it this far into the stream, we do much appreciate it. If you're live right now and watching, if you don't mind, in the chat, hit a thumbs up. Let us know how the stream looks for you and everything's going good. Audio's good, so I can stop worrying about it, as we're going to look at the battle back here for 8th, 9th, and 10th position here. These guys are starting to get things dicing up, heated up here. Now the question is, well, it's not a question, but my thing is that we're seeing side by side with Foner and the 25 there, and Aaron. I would take it easy though, gentlemen. I wouldn't push the cars too hard. Tires are not being polite here tonight to these gentlemen.
Yeah, luckily they still have at least a couple of laps to work with. This bird's got to be careful, almost forced into the middle. About to be trapped there. Kralik's thinking about the middle, but not going to be having the space to do so. Still side-by-side action going on for the drivers, as Max Foner able to slice his way through up to 7th. for the 51. But man, you can see in the bottom right, you're seeing the battles where the drivers are at. Some of the biggest moves for that so far. Trevor Earhart moving up to a lot of positions for himself, total of 10. Then you look at Dakota Moniz up 14 for himself as he moves up to 8.
He's up, he's up 14 positions right now. It looks like he's going to be well, no, he's going to be tied as the biggest mover with Danny right now, running in 4th position right now. And speaking of that number 2 there, he is having a great run yet too here, Sam.
Yeah, this is exactly what we needed to see from Danny Cochran, one of those drivers that looking for his 2nd top 5 this season. Doesn't have a win, but 5 top 10s. And one of the higher drivers in the top 10 margin when you take away Cat 5, RS Racing. Danny Cochran, really kind of part of those 2nd to 3rd, I wouldn't want to call them tiers, but those teams that we haven't been seeing dominating up front like we've seen from some of these other teams. But Danny Cochran, every time we come to these mile-and-a-half courses, he is someone to watch out for. 4th place, looks like he's starting to lose a little bit of time and ground on our front 3, but still 4th position, great showing for himself. Another driver I'm surprised by on how well he's running. In 5th position, that of Sean Hutstetler, one of those drivers outside of, was one of the drivers, he's inside of the top 16, in points, but really hasn't been showing a lot of pace this season. He's only got 1 top 5, 4 top 10s, no wins, but he's only shown up 9 times this season. This is the 11th race of the season, so he's missed at least 1, but this is probably one of the best races we've seen from the 94 all season long.
Yeah, so far he's having a great run here, as Las Vegas is a very fun track to run, as we can see here, and it is known to get, well, I don't want to say known, let me rephrase that, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so used to seeing pack racing like knuckle to knuckle. I'm kind of shocked to see how this field got so spread out, Sam, like this.
Yeah, and a lot of these drivers getting spread out. Understanding why they got spread out, though, is because it's kind of the aero package and also how these drivers have been attacking one another. When we went green after stage 1, everyone single filed up pretty quick and only were making a few passes here or there, really just staying in line, keeping their P's and Q's and making sure everyone wasn't in any type of dangerous spot, but everyone respecting one another. And now we're starting to see little pockets of 3 cars here, 1 car, sometimes 5 to 6 in a pack, as we're seeing here, as this is our 3rd pack battling for 6th position. And I do want to give note that of Gregory Shaw came into pit road, was running around 12th position when he came into pit road. 66, if he was able to maybe stretch out for another 6 laps or so, I really would have liked this early pit stop, but he's going to be right at the edge of the tire window of where we've been seeing drivers blowing a tire. And Shaw has not been the fastest on the long stretches, so I'm questioning on this call to pit early. Could have tried to stretch it a little bit further, but hey, the 66 knows something that we don't. The drivers in there, they feel that comfortable level of, you know what, these tires aren't as solid as they used to be. I need to back out of this situation or move forward. Speaking of moving forward, got the 5 Dakota Moniz trying to figure out how to get by that of Aaron Kralik, but Kralik's making that outside line work.
He's trying to make the outside line work, and it looks like he's going to be able to clear going into 1, and he does. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're at the point of this race here. 108 laps of 150. Like Sam said, noted earlier, we're looking around 110 if they would pit. That puts them on a 40-lap stint. Now, 40 laps on these tires is getting pretty close to blown tires. So, pit window should be opening up within the next, I say, 5 to 6 laps is where I'm guessing. And if they can make it to lap 120, then you really don't got nothing much to worry about. But the question is can they do that, Sam? Can they make it from lap 71, or actually lap 71 to lap 120? That's a little bit over 40 laps on that stint. So this is going to get interesting, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to see if we have anybody that's going to pop a tire or just slow down and pace to not pop a tire?
Yeah, I think going and driving out to 120 is possible fuel-wise. Tire-wise, it's going to be a little bit risky. Looking at the windows and kind of what we were seeing from that first long green flag run that we had, that we saw drivers blowing their tires. The drivers that blew their tires was ranging anywhere from 47 laps on their tires to 48 laps on their tires. So there is the window where the drivers, if they pit now, they are in that secure bubble where they can make it. That's why we're starting to see some more drivers coming into pit road. Daniel Keith Jr. in the Fit 45 now coming in, getting service done. I do have 2 drivers I am heavily concerned about that have been still out there battling as we see this great action still for 6th place. This pack is doing great. But Zach Hall, Cedric Hunter, they've been out on this set of tires for 55 laps each.
Ooh.
And I'm concerned because we saw Cedric Hunter and Zach Hall already blow their tires. Maybe they learned something from that, how to conserve so they aren't in a reckless and endangering moment. As right now they're running back for Zach Hall, 14th, still in the lead lap. Last car in the lead lap. And then for that is Cedric Hunter. He's back in 19th, 1 lap down.
Yeah, well, like you said, it puts them in the bubble here now that, 47 laps you said there, Sam? But, the bottom line comes down to this, though, is, you're getting towards the end of the race. This could be your last pit stop. This could be your money stop. How hard do you run that car to try to gain positions on fresh tires and gain that 1-2 positions? Because from the trend right now here, we're probably going to stay green till the end. I wouldn't be surprised unless we have something majorly happen out here, to bring out a yellow. How hard do you run that car? That's going to be the question. 47 laps puts you in the bubble, but if you run that car hard for the first 10 laps, that bubble is gone. That's not there no more. You done abused them tires in the first 10 laps.
Yeah, but they're now inside of the window of 36, about to be 36 laps that they need to finish out this race. We know that at least for our front 15, they need to come into pit road, and it looks like Zach Hall going to be starting that win as far as he possibly could go. Finally had to come into pit road, and being the last car on the lead lap, going to need a lot of these front runners to possibly stay out a little bit further so he can get an advantage. But now we got a lot of more drivers coming to pit road. You got Max Foner as well as Danny Cochran, who was running in 4th place before coming in. They'll be coming into pit road now, but these drivers are in that bubble. And also, we're talking about the tire wear. Another factor that we haven't really touched on was the track temp. The track temp, when we were on that stint where we saw tires being blown, it was around 136 degrees track temp. It has dropped 4 degrees to 132. Still scalding, still burning off rubber, but just 4 degrees allows these drivers to run a couple of more laps further than what they would have done before.
I was going to say 4 degrees ain't much when you're at 130-some degrees. It's hot in them cars. It's hot probably in their cockpit. Hopefully they're sitting in air conditioning in their home, as this is the virtual side of things. But could you imagine in real life having to sit in that car at that kind of temperature? Whew. Ow.
It's 91 ambient temperature just baked in onto those cores, and that heat's radiating off into the car as well. Whew. More drivers coming out of pit road, though. Kyle Rochelle, Aaron Kralik, Moniz, as well as Dingler, all getting their service done and trying to get out as quick as possible. And then next row of cars coming in, Sinchek and also Trevor Earhart. And Robert, you even brought this up earlier. Just having a lap advantage over someone else is so massive with how the tire wear we've been seeing. Gomillion, another driver that comes into pit road. We're still waiting for our top 3 and also that of Nick Crawford to come into pit road.
Let's see. Well, yeah, we still got now. Who just hit pit road? Top 3 have not pit road yet, so okay. Well, they should be hitting pit road here soon, Sam. I wouldn't imagine you don't want to stay out too much longer here. I'm thinking maybe the top 3 is looking at lap 120, but maybe not. Looks like Brian John. Nope. Okay. I'm thinking lap 120. These top 3 are going to go for it, and that's when they're going to make their pit stops.
Yeah, they're going to be trying to stay out as long as possible. The biggest thing also they need to worry about is if lap traffic decides to stay low and blocks them from coming into pit road. That also could be a factor to watch out for. As we're still waiting for our top 3 to come to pit road, first car 1 lap down, Gregory Shaw, the 66, one of our fan favorites out there in chat. 4th place for this driver and is being ran down by Kyle Rochelle about 2.4 seconds back. So Gregory Shaw, he came into pit road 13 laps ago, but made a massive leap over the rest of the field because our leader right now, just coming into pit road, was running almost a total of he was over 2 seconds slower than his best time. Johnson into pit road, now still waiting for that of Huttstetler, Bird. They're still waiting when they're going to be coming in. It sounds like the 49 of Bird, Colin the Hill, be coming in this time by. Try to stay out as long as possible. And if we start to see all of our leaders come in, Gregory Shaw could be our leader for at least a lap, but he has got a screaming quick Kyle Rochelle that's trying to take that lead before. And Rochelle going to be passing that of Johnson, and a net gain for the 1. We'll be putting him in the lead, but he's going to have 4 lap older tires than the 28 that's just been extremely quick. Now it's going to be Huttstetler, Bird into pit road. Shaw's going to be flying around, should be taking the lead for the 66. Great job for the G Fuel machine, who is out here. Had to make a bold decision. This could be a net gain for this team, though. Hitting this early, because when he came into pit road, he was running around 11th position. He was really off the pace. But for these final 30 laps, could be finding himself finishing around a top 10 if we start to see some issues for some other drivers.
Yeah, that's the key there. Well, you good saying there, Sam. I mean, basically, he put himself out. He got to lead a lap. He gets that bonus point. Now, look, his key is to finish in the top 10 to top 15. In between 10th and 15th is where he needs to try to fall in place after everybody else burns off their tires, slows down, things like that. As we got Rochelle all over him, fresh tires. He's going to work his way down the backstretch, looking on the inside. There's nothing that the G Fuel machine can do, so let him go, and the sim box is going to take over the lead.
Rochelle, after pitting, his goal, try to build up this lead as big as possible, because you know that of Tom Sinchek and also Brian Johnson, they're going to be coming with head of steam. They're going to be in line drafting with one another, but Johnson went from leading those other 2 drivers to now back in 4th, and he's going to try to make the outside line work, but a little bit of a pinch.
Whoa.
3rd place, almost a little bit dicey. Tom over the radio said, sorry, didn't mean to pinch you there, but Brian Johnson is coming with a head of steam.
Yeah. I mean, 2 laps, 1 lap difference on tires is huge here, ladies and gentlemen. We talked about it all night, and now we're just going to watch how fast that 28 is going to catch up to Kyle. Kyle, within the next 10 laps, ain't going to have nothing for that 28. I hate to say it, but he needs a yellow because that Chevy's coming, man.
The lap difference. So tire difference-wise, it is 4 laps between Kyle Rochelle and Brian Johnson when they came to pits. It was Rochelle that pitted first and Johnson later in the run, and there is a 0.7 second, almost a full second difference between what Rochelle was running compared to Johnson. It's less than a second and a half. That 20 is coming, but we're coming up to also we're coming up to 25 laps to go. So the field, starting to feel that urgency. If you're close to someone else and you're on similar tires, you're kind of trying to do your best to stay out there, but we all kind of know a late caution still is looming over everyone's head if someone just makes one slip up.
Well, if we get a late caution, how many people still got a set of tires? Does everybody still have a set yet, do you think?
Yeah, everyone should still have a set left. Everyone should at least have 1 set for themselves. There's a few drivers that might have themselves 2 sets, actually. We're trying to set themselves up for just in case this late caution came out. So I don't know why some drivers will try to have 2 sets, but you know, sometimes it's better if you're able to cut away a pit stop, but that's usually when you're trying to cut a pit stop out of the cycle. It's because you're going to make 2 stops. It's Gregory Shaw I touched on the fact that he is one of those drivers quick in the first 20 laps of a run. He actually had an extra set. He's coming into pit road now, trying to gain all these positions back as understanding, hey, I might have extremely old tires. Don't want to risk blowing my tires. Let's just get some tires on now, get our service done, and try to get all those positions back on spring flag run. Just going with 2 tires, it looks like, for the 66. Ooh, interesting call here late. 2 tires, I think with the way that tire wear has been, and how hot the surface has been for these guys, I like that 2-tire call. Or that of Shaw. He's not losing as much time as he would have. And coming out of pit road, we'll keep our eye on where he's at. 17th. Might be dropping back even further than that. But, hey, he's got about anywhere from 7 to 14 lap pressure tires on his right side. We'll see how well the 66 can try to get himself back into the top 15.
Well, yeah, it's a great call. Nothing against drivers, but it really unbalances the car when you put 2 tires on, especially on a hot, slick surface like this. Now the question is can he manhandle the car for the next 5 laps? Because that thing is just going to be wicked loose on him, and right now it's looking like he's handling it pretty good. Which sometimes you can do that, Sam. Sometimes it backfires on you. You come out and the car just gets so bipolar that it just spins out. So, but like I said, it looks like he's manhandling it pretty good. He's hanging on to it. So yeah, great call from the 66 team right now.
As we were talking about, Shaw pass for the lead has happened. Brian Johnson has gotten by that of Kyle Rochelle, pushing Rochelle back to 2nd place. Thompson checking 3rd. 4th, Danny Cochran. 5th has been Max Foner, which that 5th place position has been a rotating, just revolving door of who's going to be in that position. Drivers coming into pit road, Nick Crawford as well as Jesse Thordick getting service for themselves. Both those drivers staying out for over 50 laps on the run that they were on. Hoping for a late caution that never came, and both of them going to be going a lap down as we're watching the hard battling for 6th place. It's going to be that of Moniz, Kralik, as well as Hutstutler battling on, and of these 3 drivers, it's going to be Sean Hutstutler in the 94 back car of this 3-car pack. 5-lap pressure tires, so he's got the grip to try to be aggressive here. He's also got to be careful of a little bit of blocking that we might see from the 16.
Yeah, I was just ready to say, you seen that too? If anything's going to happen here, anybody, man, it's going to be right now. These guys here are battling hard. We said it's going to happen, and this is where, well, okay, it looks like the 94 is going to get that run on the top side. He should be able to clear him going down the backstretch here.
He should, but he's kind of boxed in at the moment, trying to find enough space, and he does just enough to slide down under Moniz, and there goes Hutstutler. Hutstutler's goal. He's got just a little bit of time, 18 laps, to try to run down that of Max Foner, get a top 5 finish, and I would say Hutstutler, he's got enough time, and now got fresh air to try to run the 51 down.
Yeah, that was crazy. He snaked right past both. He went high, and then he went low, and he's like, guys, look, I'm coming through, man. I got better tires. Please move out of the way.
Another very close battling that's going on. We know that the battle for 7th is happening, as well as back for 12th. Gilmillion and Zach Hall side by side for 44, 32. And Zach Hall making some contact with the 44 and go almost into the grass. Don't want to go there. And Zach Hall's done a great job rebounding for this race. Was in 17th for the longest time, but just got pinched up. And both drivers looking for the same real estate, hurting the 32 as he drops back, losing ground. He'll have to try to march back, gain all that back up in these final 17 laps.
Yeah, great rebound by Zach Hall. Almost went rebounded bye-bye. it's almost at I cannot speak tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
It's been a weird day. I couldn't speak for a little bit there. It has just been a weird broadcast day.
Blah, 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 blah. Well, anyways, thanks for everybody for tuning in out there and sticking by our side. We do much appreciate it. As we got battling back here going right now with Zach Hall, and it looks like lap down of is that Adams on the inside? Yes, that is Adams in the 88. 1 lap down, it looks like. Is he 1 lap down? No, he's on the tail end of the lead lap.
No, he's actually one lap down.
Oh, he's
Bar
one
that's
lap,
tail
okay.
end is going to be that of
Shaw?
Martin Morales. It's going to be the 24 and 14.
Okay. He's okay.
Adam Westfield's going to be the 17th place, one lap down. Was trying to catch up to that of Shaw, but not able to do so. Speaking of the 66, he's about a half second away from making the pass on that of Daniel Keith Jr. to move himself up into the top 15, which was the main goal of the 66 all to come into pit road, get himself the best run he could, and making that pass into the top 15 for the 66. Great call for himself, as we'll now move up to the battle for 7th place. Dakota Moniz, Adam Kralik, they have been duking it back and forth. And gotta give credit to that Dakota Moniz. This is a much-needed finish for himself. Up in the top 10, came in 14th in points, but only had himself just the smallest margins of 14 points between himself and car in 15th of Nathan Soren. And with Soren departing out of this race early, he gave a great points gain that we can get from this 5 machine right now, running in 7th place. And Aaron Kralik was already eliminated for the playoffs, as he's only shown up for, now this would be his 4th race of the season. But a lot of these drivers just trying to finish off the regular season with a great showing. Back here, 25, that of Trevor Earhart, as well as the 22 of Tyler Dingler. We haven't really talked about the 22 at all this race.
Yeah.
He has been just having a quiet top 10 run for himself. The 22 of Tyler Dingler qualified back in 19th position, moved up to 10th. Kind of has been just following Trevor Earhart. Earhart qualified in 20th. Kralik qualified in 16th, 22nd for Moniz. So seeing a lot of drivers outside of the top 15, able to get in the top 10 here late. Cream of the crop seems to be moving up late in this race right now, as we're inching closer and closer to 10 to go.
Well, that comes down to it now, Sam. We're close to 10 to go here, everybody. And now it comes to the point where the race basically is spread out. Your tires are worn down now. I mean, the only battle we really got going on out there is for 7th and 8th position.
13's getting a little wild.
Okay, 13th a little bit, like you said. But my thing about it is now, Sam, is that just ride it. 10 laps to go. There's no point of ruining your race now. You got your points. You know where you're going to finish. Just take it and leave and prepare yourself for next week, and knowing next week what you got to do, either win to make it into the playoffs or point your way into the playoffs, or you just know your season's done and you just go out there to ruin somebody else's race by winning it.
Yeah, try to snuff out these drivers that are in must-win scenarios. That is the best scenario to go. Or just be Brian Johnson and win, and just keep on winning. He is going for his 5th win of the season, and he has just been on a tear. Won at Daytona to start out the season, and then won again at Pocono, then won at Martinsville 2 in a row. And he's just been winning over and over again. Wins at Darlington, and here today at Las Vegas, looking for win number 5 for the 28 machine. Brian Johnson, I mean, he's trying to go for Road to Pro on iRacing, and showing why he is such a contender to watch out for in Road to Pro, and also the major contender here for the NAISCC Cup Series Season 3 Championship. You thought maybe Tom Sinchek running in 3rd right now would be the driver to watch out for. He's the champ. He's won back-to-back championships. But we might be seeing Johnson becoming the regular season champion. But
yeah,
both you and I know, Robert, playoffs, a different monster at times. You need the luck to transition, because if you had a couple of bad races, you could be finding yourself being knocked out first round in just a blink of an eye.
Well, that's it. What knocked out. But note back onto what you're saying about those wins for Brian Johnson. Daytona is a surprise. Pocono and Martinsville, yeah, I see Brian Johnson winning, which he did. He's really, really good at those tracks. Them other races that you said, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, he got lucky. He just got lucky. I know Brian Johnson for a very, very long time, and when I say this, those races that he did win, other than Martinsville and Pocono, was by luck or by the way the race just fell into his hands. Other than that, he's good at those tracks, but you know what I mean? That's not his strong suit.
Yeah, I mean, the other race that he won was Darlington, which
Yeah.
that race, there could have been a ton more yellows being thrown, but yellow flags were just not being thrown because of how narrow the racing surface is when drivers go spinning. So it gets tricky at times, as we're going to actually move back to that battle for 7th once again, because it went from a 2-horse race to now a 3-horse race. You touched on it, Robert. Just having one lap advantage over tires could give you such an advantage later on. And that's what we're seeing from Trevor Earhart, that came out of nowhere and is now on the back bumper of the 16 and the 5.
1 lap difference, yeah, like you said, I noted on that 1 lap difference, and it's amazing as you said. Look at it, you know, Trevor now says, okay, 4 laps to go. I got the sniff of the draft of Aaron, and it is time to go. But, you know, that 5 and 16 up there, they've just been duking it all night. Back and forth, back and forth. Now, the 5 has stayed in front of that 16 basically this whole stint of this run. But that 16 is still letting him sniff in his drafts and saying, look, man, I'm right here. One mistake, and I'm gonna pounce you.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing for these drivers is how well are you going to be cutting your way through. And also a pass for 4th place. Sean Hutzler, fresh tires, getting by the 2. Danny Cochran.
Wow.
Sean Hutzler moving himself up. He got into 5th place, getting back past Boner. Now up to 4th. Wow, it is great to see. Moving back to that battle for 8th place. Kralik, Trevor Earhart, they are side by side right at the quarter panel. That's where you want to see Earhart. Use that side draft from the front stretch. Push the 16 high, but just couldn't stay there. Kralik holding strong. 2 laps to go for Brian Johnson to win this thing.
2 laps to go, but we're going to stick with the battle back here for 7th, 8th, and 9th position. We'll see what that 25 can do. Up 11 positions. Dakota's up 15 positions. Aaron's up 8 positions. And they are just all over. Look at the run that 25 gets through 1 and 2. Holy mackerel, here he goes.
Right on the back bumper. And Danny Cochran, I think he might have blown a tire. He's going low onto the apron and is just coasting at this point.
Oh,
the
no.
2 major issues for himself. Could not make it. White flag in the air. Brian Johnson just been clean green coming out of turn 2. Just going to make sure these tires make it. But he was one of those drivers that stretched out as long as possible. And Brian Johnson, what a run for this team. Didn't have the best qualifying run. Qualified 12th, but coming out of turn 4. Win number 5 of the season goes to Brian Johnson in the 28.
28 wins the race here tonight at Las Vegas, but we're not done battling. We're not done betting yet. Here comes Trevor. He's going to look on the high side. Coming through 3 and 4, Sam, and he's going to, whoa, Wiggler coming out of 4. Does he got the run?
It was close, but I think it went to Kralik.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness.
3,000th of a second.
Oh.
Kralik somehow finds the speed to keep 7th place over Trevor Earhart.
Wow, wow, wow. And shout out to the 66 of Shell. He comes home 15th position. I mean, that was his goal, I do believe. He did it, man.
Yeah, and he actually came up just short, about a half a second away from getting to that of Martin Morales. You got to be thinking for Gregory Shaw, maybe if he came in a lap or 2 sooner, he could have caught up to the 24. But this was such a weird race. Drivers blowing tires, couldn't make it. First caution, threw drivers into a loop. Who was going to take tires? Who didn't? And it put a lot of about 6-7 machines on the back foot. But the driver that went with tires, that was Brian Johnson, who gets it done, and he gets to burn it down. We will be right back to talk to our top 3. Brian Johnson, our winner, 2nd place, that of Kyle Rochelle and Tom Sinchek in just a few moments. Thank you again for watching us at the Freaky Fast Broadcasting, and we love the fact that these guys put on a show week in and week out. We'll be right back with our top 3. Well, the track is now clear. Go grab an egg, go fry it on the track. It is still burning up out there, and the driver that got it done was Brian Johnson for 150 laps here for the Sin City 300 for the NAISCC Cup Series. We now only have one more race to go, but before we start looking towards New Hampshire for our final regular season race, we're going to talk to our top three. First up, going to be that Thompson check in the 8 machine. Able to scrub away with the third place finish after a lot of drivers. We weren't sure if they had the tires to make it. Tom, it's Sam up in the booth. You got me?
Rajo.
Well, it seemed like everyone's strategies were based off of that first caution. The drivers that went with tires and those that didn't. What made you and also that RS team thinking about taking tires under that first caution?
Dirty air and a lot of practice. We knew that we couldn't go all the way on a fuel run. I think we would have been maybe 10 or 15 laps short, and we knew that the tires, I mean, you'd think that this racetrack is Atlanta with the way that it wears the tires out. So we knew that if we didn't take tires on lap 22 and it went green, we were kind of going to be sitting ducks right there. So we kind of risked it. We knew that we had the stage coming up. So we decided to go, and when we saw people stay out, we were surprised, but we were glad to see it go green till the end of the stage.
Yeah, and it stayed green for besides that stage break all the way through. When you were talking about tires, though, when you were practicing, how much were you guys looking at the track temp as well? Because tonight, I think the highest we saw was around 136, almost 137 degrees track temp, and it was burning those tires off.
I enjoyed it though. I mean, the way that this league goes is we don't try and, I know it seems like it's cold a lot, but we go with the weather of the actual racetrack, I think the Saturday before the actual race. So tonight we're going to look at what the weather is over at New Hampshire and see what the temperature is, and we're going to set it for that. So it's not like we set it to whatever they want. So the fact that, Las Vegas in the summertime is pretty damn hot, we were pretty excited to get a little bit of a change of pace right here. We got to show what you could do on a hot track.
Well, Tom, a great finish for yourself, third place. We saw you leading these laps. What did it feel good when you were having fresh air, and how treacherous was it once you were behind drivers?
It was it's hard to kind of explain. So like when you're in front, you can kind of cut the exit down a little bit, whereas when you're in, you got to go all the way up to the wall when you're right behind something. But when I was behind Brian, when we were really close and I would try and get into the corner, trying to get into the turn, it would almost push me up to like the middle line, no matter what, no matter how much I let off. As soon as I got up to him, it would push me up a little bit to the little line. I knew every time it pushed me up, it was just using a little bit more tire. So yeah, clean air is king. That's why me and him had that battle in the beginning for, I don't know, 20 laps side to side. We knew that fresh air, clean air was going to be king. But unfortunately, I just went a little too high in that one turn, and he got under me and cleared me.
Well, Tom, it was a great run here tonight. And before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shout-outs.
Yeah, shout out to everybody. Shout out to you guys. Shout out to RS Racing Team. I think me and Kyle had a great run. It was unfortunate that James, I think he had that meatball, and poor Maurice didn't have sound all night. He was playing off his ButtKicker, the vibration in the ButtKicker. And congrats to Brian. He ran a masterful race right there. We thought that we were going to have him in the pits, but I mean, he stormed right on by us at the end there. So good for him.
It's going to be the champ, Tom Sinchak. Third place finish here at Las Vegas, and good luck next week at New Hampshire.
You guys have a good one.
And his RS Racing teammate, that's going to be Kyle Rochelle, finishing up in second. The one coming up with a great run for himself. Kyle, it's Sam of the booth. You got me?
Hey, man. How's it going?
It's been a crazy one up here in the booth, but man, out on the track, seemed like the first half of this race, it was side-by-side racing, get aggressive, but that second half, it was all staying single file. How was it seeing that transition of these drivers picking and choosing how they wanted to be?
Yeah, you're going to see the side-by-side racing no matter what on these tracks, and best thing you do is just get in a straight line and save your tires, really, and then just outdrive the guy in front of you or hold off the guy behind you, and that's what I was trying to do the whole race, and I was really good on the long run. It's too bad that we couldn't make it on fuel, or that we were just gonna or actually I think we could have, but you just burned those tires up so much that you had to pit there, and if we were able to go like 50 laps right behind him like we did there, I think we could have got him on the long run, but still cool.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great charge for you guys. I mean, you pitted early. Was that a game plan by the team to pit as early as you were, or just the tires were so burnt up at that point you had to come in?
Yeah, I think we went like 45 laps on that run, and then we figured 35 would be a nice cushion and be comfortable. I expected him to come like right behind us because I knew, if we short pit, we're gonna gain a lot of time. And I guess he went like 4 laps after us, and I mean that was just the telltale of it. I mean, he caught me like it was nothing. So, um, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Kyle, great run here tonight. Second place finish. I mean, starting to build that momentum up into the playoffs. So we're going to New Hampshire next week. How are you feeling about going to the mile course?
It's a tough track, so if we can come away with the top 5 or surprise them with a win, that'd be great going into the playoffs. I'm looking forward to Charlotte though. That'll be fun. So that'd be a good win to have. I'll save it for there if I can.
It would be good to get wins in the playoffs, as those wins to get in so much needed to move on. Well, Kyle, before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shout outs.
I just gotta thank the whole RS Racing team. Tom and I finally were able to put on the podium together. He's been struggling, I've been struggling. Now we're starting to get our wheels rolling, so that's good. Just gotta thank James, Maurice, DBI, and the whole league, and everything you guys do. Freaky fast. Thanks.
That's Kyle Rochelle getting a second place finish here at Las Vegas, and a good luck to you, Kyle, next week.
Thank you.
And RS Racing, they've been putting on a show, trying to come back here today, but the man that they're trying to run down, Brian Johnson, he is just getting wins after win. Brian, it's Sam up at the booth. 5 wins now this season in the regular season. You got one more race. You think you can make it 6?
Well, it's funny you say that because, last week I was late to my interview because Cedric was doing endurance duty, and next weekend we got another endurance race, and I think I'm gonna have to do that. So I don't think I can make it 6 in the regular season, but I definitely think I'd have a shot at it.
Well, you might be missing out next week, but here tonight, I mean, you put on a show. You were showing off how to cut your way through traffic. We saw that you qualified back in 12th. Was there just a mishap during qualifying for yourself?
Yeah, I mean, in practice, I ran about 30, 32 laps, something like that, and those were the first laps I got. And I was feeling okay about it, but not too great. And then went into qualifying, and ran the lap, and I was like, it felt like a pretty solid lap, and yeah, it was pretty far off. So I had to start in the middle of things, and I was just like, look, I gotta get as close to that clean air as I can. Screw the tire wear right now. We can worry about that later. I got to get to the front and get out of this mess, and that's what we did. And then had that caution, and some guys decided to not take tires there. Every single one of my teammates. And I was like, well, if they're all going to do that, and I don't know how I feel about that strategy. So I think I'm going to take tires here, and that was definitely the right call. And so I had to, I think I started 10th or 11th there, so I had to get through the pack again, and yeah, just the whole night getting through the pack and battling for first with Tom there. It was a matter of do I want the tire wear and stay behind him, have the tire wear at the end of the run and try to get him later, or do I want the clean air? So I just made the decision to have the clean air, and it worked out.
And, with the choice of taking fresh tires early, it then also had another choice to make. Late in this race, you were one of the furthest drivers to stretch out your final pit stop. Were you thinking about staying out there, making sure you were the last driver to pit, or was there something else going through your mind in that last pit stop?
That was kind of a audible play right there. That was a Peyton Manning Omaha, because the second and third, I think they put it together. They pit one lap, and then the next lap I wanted to come in, but there's a lap car who had just got tires, and he went to my inside in turn 3. So I was like, well, I'm gonna have to wait another lap, and I was like, well, I don't. I've already been undercut 1 lap. I don't want to be undercut 2 laps. Let me just kind of stretch these tires out some, and then I'll have a pretty big tire advantage for the next run, which I needed anyway because Kyle was a lot better with the tires on the long run. So I was like, I think I'm gonna just go long and have better tires in the run going to the checkered flag, and it definitely worked out.
It really did work out, getting you your 5th win of the season here tonight at Las Vegas. But before we let you go, Brian, the floor is yours for any shout-outs.
Yeah, just gotta give a shout out to you guys as always, and everybody that tunes in, and then the admins over here, and then all the league drivers as well. This is the second race in a row where we've had majority green flag laps. I think we only had, I mean, if you include the stage, I think maybe 2 cautions. So that's really good to see. And then got to thank my teammates as always, and then got to thank everybody who helps protect the freedoms that we have in this country.
That's Brian Johnson getting the win here at Las Vegas for the Sin City 300. Congratulations on your win. Hopefully we could see you racing, but if we can't see you next week, can't wait for playoff time.
Absolutely.
As that was your top 3. Thank you to all of our top 3 for showing up for interviews. And here is our final results. Going to be getting the win: Brian Johnson, Kyle Rochelle, Tom Sinchek, Sean Hudstutler, Max Boner, your top 5. With that of Dakota Moniz, Aaron Kralik, Trevor Earhart, as well as Tyler Dingler and Ryan Bird, your top 10. Drivers that made some great comebacks. Got to thank Gil Million, Zach Hall. They were able to really charge back after some woes of kind of what we touched on. Drivers that were making some missed calls in that first caution that just set them back, being a lap down, sometimes 2 laps down, and making that final green flag pit stop under stage 1, putting a lot of these drivers in a lot of crunching and stressful moments. Also, that of Danny Cochran looking to be our top 4 finisher, but blew his tire late, forcing the 2 to be so far back. And Nathan Soren he showed up, but after having his issues, fell back to 25th position. It's going to be a giant hole for the 05 if he wants to find himself into the next round. Also for Jesse Thordick, wasn't the day that 14 needed a better solid top 15 run for the points, but you're coming close to the end of the regular season here, Robert. We'll see a better picture of after this race. These are your unofficial results, but it is going to be close racing action in New Hampshire. A little bit of short track racing there, flat surface. Braking zones are going to be important, and it is going to be a wild one next week. But what are some of your final thoughts here tonight, Robert?
Well, my final thoughts here tonight was kind of shocking as seeing the blown tires. As you've seen there towards the end with Danny, unfortunately getting a blown tire. Just the tire wear itself in general is my number one factor here tonight, Sam. Just caught me off guard seeing that many people struggle with tire wear and just blown tires. You don't see that too often here in iRacing, but it brings a different element of racing, and I enjoy seeing that kind of stuff because, you just can't go balls to the walls, excuse my language, but, with your tires. I mean, you got to back it up. You got to save tires. Sometimes it's not about being the fastest car out there, and it's about being the smartest car out there and the smartest driver out there. And tonight at Las Vegas, it had all of it here, Sam. We had pit strategy. We had a stage break. We also had 1 caution due to tires. Just different things. So that's what I take away from tonight's race, man.
It has been a wild one, 150 laps, and it's going to be that of Brian Johnson getting his 5th win of the regular season. And one of our favorites going and heading into the playoffs. But we have one more race to get our top 16 in points. We already know 5 drivers that have won and are locked into the next round. We'll wait and see as the week progresses on how those points look. Here tonight, it was a blast to watch, but to conclude our call, Robert, the call is yours.
All right. Well, again, thank you, Sam. If you made it to this part of the stream, or if you watched it from the beginning and all the buffering and everything and ups and downs, we do much appreciate it, and I send out my apologies for it. But I'm glad we got the race in for these guys here tonight on Saturday night as they put on great action. So we do much appreciate that, and really, I do apologize for that, but, sometimes things are out of our hands, like Sam said, and tried to keep everybody well informed through the whole night, exactly what was going on as we were trying to fix the issues, and I do appreciate that. But our next telecast will be tomorrow night with Sim Racing Unleashed, as they will bring out the next-gen cars out at Bristol Yes, we're going to see what these things could do at some half-mile Bristol racing, short track tempers, probably going to fly, some beating and banging, and we'll see what these cars can do out there, as it's going to be the first time here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. We're going to see short track racing with these guys with the the new gen cars that are going to be out next year, Sam. So I don't know, are you going to be with us tomorrow night there, sir?
I believe I will be there tomorrow night.
Well, you know what? We're all going in blind, ladies and gentlemen. So make sure you tune in tomorrow night at 7:50 when we go live with Zach Hall, and Sam's going to be calling all the action with Sim Racing Unleashed SRU. So make sure you check that out tomorrow. So, and if you don't want to miss any of that action or happen to forget when we do go live, you can always hit that subscribe button on YouTube. It always sends you an email alerts on your iPhones and Android phones. You get all them alerts, and we do much appreciate that. But all right, well, until tomorrow night, we're going to get out of here as it's hot and sticky here at Las Vegas. We'll catch everybody tomorrow night at 7:50 at Bristol Motor Speedway. But until then, have a great Sunday. We want to say up here at Freaky Fast, as always, God bless everybody. We love yous all. Peace out.